Hello, it's layperson Lisa with a reflection on the readings for the 20th Sunday in Ordinary Time. So in today's second reading from the book of Hebrews, we hear how let us rid ourselves of every burden and sin that clings to us. In the gospel, Jesus is talking about bringing fire upon the earth, and that fire is the divine love of God. This love that is purifying, this love that transforms our hearts. So, last week I talked about miracles. And one of the miracles that I've seen in my own life is the transformative power of God's divine love, of God's purifying love, and how that can, when we are ready to fully receive it, or even when we're kind of opening up our hearts, our hardened hearts to receiving his divine love, it can transform our lives completely. I read this book about patience, and it was such a great book. And one of the things that is said in the book is how God much rather prefers that we go through purgatory on earth rather than when we pass on to the next life, that eternal life. He wants us to go, he much rather prefers that we go through this purgatory here so that when we do pass, we go and meet him directly instead of having to be purified in purgatory. And I thought that was amazing. And I often share that to people, especially when we're undergoing suffering, or that God is working that divine love on our heart and calling us to detach from things, to be purified from things, from growing in holiness. And oftentimes that part of our journey is painful. And so I think that can give us hope, like, okay, this is painful, but this is purifying me. This is making me holier. This is drawing me closer to God. And the division that is inside of our hearts, sometimes there's this part of our heart that we have not surrendered to God, that we have not invited him into. And a lot of times it's something that maybe we have kind of suppressed. We don't want to deal with the hurt. It might be some sort of wound that, just because of our own self-preservation, we kind of push it to the bottom. But when we grow closer to Jesus, when we invite his divine love into our lives, into our hearts, then we have this greater awareness, this greater self-awareness of the areas of our heart that are hardened. Maybe there's someone that we need to forgive. Maybe there's some anger that comes out every once in a while, but it's not consistent enough to think that, okay, I have this anger that I need to invite Jesus into. But oftentimes it's something that we are just kind of keeping separate from God. And so is there an area in your life where your heart maybe feels divided? Maybe you're not ready to invite Jesus into that area. Maybe you don't even know that area of your heart is hardened. And so I invite you to ask Jesus to make you aware of any areas in your heart that may need purification. Maybe there's some sort of attachment to something worldly, something, maybe your priorities are misaligned. Allow Jesus to make you aware of these things which are keeping you from him. And often when we are made aware of this, it's hurtful. Like, oh my goodness, like I did not even realize that I had this in my heart. And it's a sign of deeper relationship with Jesus. It's a sign of wanting, desiring to draw closer to him. But when we do go through this purification process, it can be painful. And so we need to invite Jesus into it, like, okay, Lord, give me the grace. Give me the grace to allow you to purify my heart. Give me the grace and the strength to endure and persevere through this part of my spiritual journey. Because when we detach from things of this world, when we are made aware of what is keeping us from fully offering our hearts to God, it's an opportunity to invite him in, to depend on him more, to trust in him more. And that's part of the process. It's, okay, Lord, I trust. This is really painful, but I trust that you are purifying me, and purification is painful. And I invite you this day to ask Jesus, what area of my heart is divided? Am I separating from you? And then invite him in to purify it.